back, citizens. Are you concerned yet?
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. You have reached the hub of the Conversations with Concerned Citizens podcast. Here we talk about the topics you dare only speak about in secret.
Here at the C.C.C podcast, we only attack ideas and not people. We do not promote the harassment or bullying of any kind. And at this
We,
time, we ask that you please hit the like, share with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you feel it in your heart to send us a love donation, we greatly appreciate it. Everything goes back into the platform. We are your host
the lurker.
and Godmama, and may the odds.
Forever be in your favor.
Honeybee, you deserve all you desire. So fly away, black butterfly, to what you admire. Only you can hinder you from truly reaching triumph. I'm destined for greatness because I imagine that. My skin light, but baby, I am blacker than black. I got a mean code switch voice for work type black. I'm so black that my pale teacher called me a nigga in the middle of class. And I just sat back and laughed because that word don't make me boo. It makes you miserable. Don't gotta go to the circus to know it's clowns in there.
I just love that little intro. I really do.
Yep.
Shout out to the black butterfly.
Yep.
All right. We here again. We
Welcome
back.
back. Welcome back.
And we are concerned. How you doing today, Godmama?
I'm here. I'm a little tired, but I'm here.
Facts. It feels like a Wednesday, right? Happy
It
hump
feels like
day.
a Wednesday.
It feels
Yes.
like a
Happy hump.
Wednesday for sure.
Absolutely.
Well,
Today, I think this conversation is gonna, because it's kind of shaking up the streets, anyways, with parents now being held accountable for what their children do out in this world. And a lot, there's people on both sides of the fence on whether this was a good thing or this was a bad thing. And as a parent myself, it puts a little bit more accountability and responsibility on us.
right. It really does. And what we're talking about is parents being held accountable for the crimes of their children.
Mhm.
You know, and to what extent are we willing to enforce that law?
Mm.
Right.
Mhm.
Because it can't all just be school shooter parents, right? There's some other kids out here that their parents need to be reprimanded as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
For sure. And I think, to me personally, I think this was a great law. I hope other states follow suit. I hope
Mhm.
that this is something that really gets parents back active in their children's lives.
Absolutely. Because now
hmm
you have the fear of jail time, right? You have the fear of being charged with manslaughter now, and
hmm
you didn't even touch a thing, you know?
hmm Right. And when I was asking, like what extent, I'm curious to see where it goes, like for some of these parents of child drug dealers, some of these parents that have bullies for kids. How far are we going to take this into the law? I'm
Absolutely.
curious to see. Curious
And,
to see.
I've said that before too, like, I think parents who know their children are bullies at
hmm
school, I think that they should have to be held some sort of accountable for at least getting their child help, providing, giving them some type of services to see what's going on with them as well,
Right.
and not just be all on the victim. And then when the victim snaps, now the victim's parents are being held accountable, and I'm not saying that was the specific in this case, but a lot of the school shooters were bullied a lot in school. So they take it out, or they're having a hard home life and they have to
hmm
find somewhere to take it out on.
hmm
This
That's
goes
true.
to the question, should parents start monitoring their children's video games more? I talk about it a lot because I do it, but a lot of parents don't, and I don't think
Mhm.
they understand and realize what those GTA and Call of Duty and all of those games really do to the
Mhm.
child's mind, and half of them haven't even hit puberty yet.
Right. That's
So their
right.
brain is not anywhere at logical point at this moment.
Mhm. Right. Starts blurring the lines,
Mhm.
you know. It really does. People going around. I remember hearing a guy have a breakdown in a lobby, and somebody said, "Oh, this sounds like an Xbox player," because he was saying all kinds of degrading terms. So it's not only the games; it's also these people who get on there and harass, stalk, cyberbully. Um, some of those lobbies that they're in, their little guest lobbies, the virtual guest lobbies, they get brutal in there.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
so as far as racial slurs, just all kinds of homophobic rhetoric,
Yeah.
it's hardcore. So yes, definitely keep an eye on what your child is consuming.
Please.
Okay,
Please.
please keep an eye on it. And it's going back to, should we hold parents accountable? I absolutely feel like we do, because we have too many parents who push it off on other people. Push it off
Mhm.
on the teachers, push it off on the therapist, push it off on the doctor, the pediatrician, the CPS workers, the courts, the this. No, you yourself need to be accountable for the actions of your child. Period. Point blank.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Or
Mhm.
you and your
Y
kid can be sellies, okay?
Mhm.
Cellmates.
Mhm. There has to be some type of consequence. There has to be.
Mhm.
Or else no one is going to learn, no one is going to care, and it's just going to keep evolving into terror, you
Mhm.
know, because that's kinda where it is now. It's and kids at school, they play around and, um, they do stupid things, they get into fights, they bully each other, school has never been an easy stomping ground.
Mhm.
It's always built to build character, and, I think parents really need to start paying a lot of attention to their kids,
Right.
because we came from an era where we did have TV, but
Right.
it wasn't, "Oh, I feel like watching this, so let me go find it." We kinda had to wait till it came on air, and
Mhm.
if there wasn't anything we liked, we just went outside. But these kids, they don't have to do that, right? They can figure out and find anything they want to find on social media.
What's up?
We've got a guest, tall and toxic, has entered the chat.
Yes, yes, indeed. Good evening.
Good evening. What's up, Saw? How you doing, baby?
I'm all right. How y'all doing this evening?
We all right. We fixing to watch a little clip though
Okay.
from this, just to get you caught up as well. But from a news outlet, just just kind of giving us a broader
Jennifer
picture.
Crumbly,
Let me make this bigger for y'all. There we go. All right, y'all, come
the
on.
first parent in the U.S. ever charged in connection to a school shooting carried out by her child, has been convicted of 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. It comes more than 2 years after Crumbly's son Ethan killed 4 students and injured several others at Oxford High School in Michigan back in 2021. This is the moment that just unfolded in court when the jury returned the verdict.
Of involuntary manslaughter as to Madison Baldwin, we find the defendant guilty of involuntary manslaughter.
Jennifer Crumbly, the first parent in the U.S. ever charged in connection to a school shooting carried out by her child, has been convicted of 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. It comes more than 2 years after Crumbly's son Ethan killed 4 students and injured several others at Oxford High School in Michigan back in 2021. This is the moment that just unfolded in court when the jury returned the verdict.
Of involuntary manslaughter as to Madison Baldwin, we find the defendant guilty of involuntary manslaughter.
Jennifer Crumbly, the first parent in the U.S. ever charged in connection to a school shooting carried
You see her face?
Yes,
She was
she looks.
distraught, like, oh fuck.
Yeah, she got well. Good for her. And then the father, he's going into trial later this month. I think it was on the February 20th. They've got him lined up for the same charges.
But see, this is the thing. Like, the dad is the one who bought the son the weapon.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, in my opinion, he should get more of a charge than she should. But she was kind of like the test subject, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I was her attorney and her, I would have fought super hard to try and go after him because he was the one that bought the weapon that was used to hurt and kill.
Isn't that called a straw purchase? Or maybe because isn't that a straw? You can't be purchasing guns for people who can't
Who aren't
register them themselves, right? That's a straw purchase, isn't it?
Were the mother and the father still together, or at any point did the father say, "Yeah, we're blaming her for this"?
mm,
Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware, but yes, they are still together as far as what I
and it
gathered from the
came
case.
out and it
So
came out in
damn.
court that she was having an affair.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. She was
So
Mm-hmm.
they
having
need
an
to you know, try their best to save the mom because the daddy. But I don't know. It just seemed kind of cool because you said if I was a lawyer, I would try my best to make sure the dad gets to basically pin it on him. But it's like their parents. They both laid down together, made that child. It's both their responsibility, regardless of who bought the gun. I mean, unless she tried like hell every single day to make sure that that kid had no access to that gun, I could go with that. But if it's like if she knew he had the gun, okay, it don't matter who bought it. Both y'all knew. Both y'all condoned this kid having that gun or having access to it.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Well, and the mom's even throwing the dad under the bus again by saying he was in charge of keeping the gun locked up. That was his job.
Mhm.
I don't
So
know.
there's a
If we
lot of
all living in
finger
the same
pointing.
house,
It's weird.
yeah. If that's both of our kid and we all living in the same house, no, we're both taking responsibility for this. Ain't no, oh well, he was in charge of keeping it. Everybody's as far as adults go when it comes to the children, we all in charge of everything. Fuck that.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. 100%. And
Oh,
what's
if
even
he got
scarier, right?
convicted, he's about to get convicted, period.
Right. And what's scarier is the mother and the father had a meeting with the school the day of the shooting where they were
Mhm.
saying, "Hey, you need to come get help for your son. Something is off. Come get your son." And the mom in the court record, it was showing the text between her and her son and the dad. And they were basically saying, you need to figure it out because we have stuff to do. So, and they left him at the school,
So they just blew him off.
blew him completely off.
Wow.
So I'm really glad in this case particular that they are looking at the parents because they basically handed him I don't want to call him a psychopath, but the child is suffering from some type of mental
Mhm.
situations, and they just giving a psychopath a loaded gun and said, "Here,
Mhm.
we gotta go. Bye."
Right.
What?
Right.
That's crazy. It's not like the son went and broke in and went through all these trials and tribulations to get a weapon. The parents literally handed it to their baby.
Right.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
good on them. But there's a lot of other parents, like Godmama was saying before, not necessarily for the school shooting, but there's a lot of parents that are like that with their kids, where they hand it off to other people. Their kids
Right.
are out here doing drugs, bullying, being sexually promiscuous, and the parents will find blame on everybody else but themselves. So I am all for this, and I really hope other states, I'm sure Texas ain't far behind it, you know what I'm saying, where we're going to start charging these adults. I know here in Texas, we get in big trouble if our kids have truancy issues. We get fined, we can get arrested.
Yeah.
And good.
In Cali, they could lock us up. They could lock us up for it. If our kid is bullying another kid, we could get fined and locked up for it along with our kid. Oh yeah. A lot of these states, they
Oh,
ain't playing that shit. Yeah. No, they ain't playing it. That's why I be checking my kids because my kids, they're not necessarily bullies. They're just
Like,
extremely sarcastic. Shut up. Look. It's kids pick up on things. I understand that, but there are certain things, like as a parent, like even if you're not actively doing it around your child, because trust me, the first couple years of all their lives, the sarcasm and all the shit talking, all that was out the window. Some kids just naturally develop certain things on their own to where you ain't got no control over. I would they're just sarcastic little assholes, but I make sure to check them, and yeah.
Oh, see, and I grew up on that motto. My parents were like, "We're gonna raise you before the streets do." Period.
Right.
So my parents didn't play that. There wasn't no, they handled it, they corrected our behavior right then, right there. My parents were not shy to take us to the bathroom and correct us in the bathroom, aka getting that ass pop. Pop. You go back to your seat crying, and you know what I'm saying, you got some act right. My parents were very big on raising their children, okay, rearing their children. So
were both of them big on discipline, or was it just one of them? Because my father was the disciplinarian. My mother would just kind of check him and make sure he didn't get out of line with that, which he never did. But it was like, she was kind of like the soother, like, why your dad did this. Like, he would discipline and she would talk to us after.
Yeah. No, both my parents were disciplinary. They both talked to us after the butt whooping, but they both equally, they were a team for sure, and they're tag teaming on us.
They damn sure didn't hand it off to that school the way that kid's parents did. They definitely deserve whatever it is they get. Because it's like these people told you, these people looking from the outside in told you something's going on with your kid, and you said y'all deal with it. What?
And that's a lot of people's stories. That's a lot of kids in school right now. That's their story.
I agree.
The teacher or the school calls the parent. The parent says, I don't have time for this. And they may not really have, because we have to make time. If you're a single person taking care of a child by yourself, you're working constantly, you have to make the time. And a lot of people are just trying to chase money right now, and their children are getting thrown to the wayside because they feel like, well, you can handle it. That's what you're paid and go to school for. But that's not what teachers go to school for. They're not psychologists, psychiatrists, counselors,
behavioral analysis.
No, they're none of that.
I agree.
And that's why I take it very seriously when the school calls me like, I'm on my way. What do you need? No, because I am not going to put my child in a position to where the adults or staff at the school deem him as a child of parents that don't care, in that sense, like, well, there's no point in calling her because she ain't gonna care. There's no point in calling her because she's not gonna pick up. No, absolutely not. I will go to war with everybody for my kids. So you better call me or we're gonna have a lawsuit. That's just how I am. Because kids suffer from getting bullied. You can't be so oblivious to think that your child is not a bully. You have to constantly keep checking in with your children every day when they come home from school, checking their temperature, seeing how not their physical temperature, but their mental temperature. See where their headspace is at. Because you're going to know if a child wants to shoot the school up, or you're going to know. There's no way, as a mother, there's no way that you don't know if you're paying attention to your children. And I'm only speaking because as a mother, but there's no way you don't know.
Like that one school shooter who shot his mom first, right? The Sandy Hook, or was it his grandma or something? Took the grandma's gun and then shot her, and then I think sometimes, and he was already graduated, right? He wasn't even like in high school anymore, and he went to a freaking elementary to go do this. So I think in majority of instances, I could agree that you should pick up, hey, something's off with my kid. I don't know what it is, but something's off. But then I think sometimes, not always, you'll notice it. I think sometimes some kids are good at hiding their.
Would you say that's most or a very small percentage of children that are able to hide that they're quote unquote psychopaths?
Well, I think it's, I think it's probably higher than what I would expect.
Mm.
Yeah, it was
You know,
easy
truth
for
be
me.
told. Yeah. I mean, think about the kids who are in sports and they have that kind of drill sergeant father, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
They're going to say, "Oh, I never saw it. Johnny was a quarterback and he was a star, but he was fucking cracking in his bathroom, crying and cutting himself. And he said, fuck it. And he snapped, right?
Right.
So I think it would probably be higher than what I would expect, which is
Right.
sad.
Mhm.
Especially for boys, because boys are taught
Yeah.
at a young age to not show emotion or anything like that, and so it's like it's just like when it comes to religion, when you're young, they embed it into you at a young age. It's harder to get out once you're older, and so they're teaching you not to show your feelings, and then the older you get, the better you get at it.
Hmm.
But I mean, we're all human, so eventually something or someone's going to do something or say something, and you're going to snap and say, "Okay, forget it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm going to hurt some people. This has been happening for too long. I don't know what else to do, so let me go ahead and do this. At least now I'll feel like I have control,
Hmm.
even if just for a moment."
Which, to piggyback off that, so is there any female school shooters?
I
I might
haven't
have to
seen
look
one
that
yet.
up. I
Not that
might
I've
have to,
heard. I,
might have
I
to
I don't
look
know
it
if
up.
there is. If there is, it's probably a tiny amount, maybe like a handful, and you
Well,
probably never really heard of them.
there was that one trans, but I think they were born male. Or no, she was born female and wanted to be. I don't know. Let me look that up real quick. I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
why
yeah,
I
yeah. There
never
was
thought of
that
that.
one. Yeah, I know who you're talking about, and she wrote like a whole manifesto of even
Yeah.
talking about how she was going to do it, how she's going to go room to room, and then there was a whole bunch of. You could tell there was clearly something off with that girl because even the way she was writing stuff, it was like incoherent. It was like
Hmm.
it was a bunch of jumbled up thoughts over the course of like years, all meeting on that one day, and it was like, okay, yeah, something was definitely wrong with that girl. But yeah, she wrote a whole book about how she's going to go from room to room, what kind of weapon she was going to use, who she was hoping would be in certain rooms, and I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, that was
That's what you
cold.
call sadistic at that point. She was just sadistic.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
projected.
yeah,
Fantasizing.
she definitely
She was
was. She was wanting to
fantasizing over
hurt
the
somebody.
murder.
She
Yeah,
wrote a whole novel. Like, wow.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, that's what happens though. You imagine yourself doing something so much because at a certain point you realize I'm going to do this one day, and so you just keep fantasizing about it over and over and over, and all it does is I read once, if you kill someone over and over again in your head, eventually
Mhm.
when you get to the day to where you finally kill them, it's
Mhm.
easier than you thought it would be, because it was like, because you did it, you mentally prepared
Yeah.
yourself for it. Yeah,
Right.
so that's crazy.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes
Hmm.
sense. We had a school shooter here where I live in like the late '90s. He was shortly after Columbine. He was up for parole last year and they denied his ass. They said, "No, sir. No." All of his surviving victims came to the parole hearing. One of them
How
is in the
old
wheelchair.
was he? Do you
Um,
know?
Michael was 16, 17, freshman in high school.
And what was his story? What did his parents say about him?
Nothing. He was a quiet kid that was picked on. He was real. He was real tall and big and weird.
Awkward.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But he went into school and acted a fool in Heath High School. He went and acted a whole fool
Hmm.
to the point to where they ended up having to shut the school down for a long time. They went and put fencing all around the school, wire. It's still like that because they changed it from the high school to the middle school. But it's still a fortress. They have a little memorial in the middle courtyard for the victims and the survivors. Yeah, and you think like, man, and I don't live in a large area, and so when it happened, everybody was like, "Wow," because we had just saw Columbine, and you think, "Dang, ain't nothing." That's wild. That's TV wild.
Yeah,
And then maybe a few months, half a year later, it happened here locally, and so everybody, all the schools started, you know, checking in. I remember that's when more mental health counselors started coming to school and talking to kids, and everybody got counseling. Everybody got counseling. It didn't matter if you wanted it or needed it or not. You know, a teacher or a counselor was coming to pull you out of class, and you would
Well,
sit and talk for about 15, 20 minutes and, you know, whatever.
well, time wise, considering days, months, weeks, how far apart were those shootings?
I'd say about a half a year max.
Yeah.
Half of mm,
Yeah, whenever something like that happens, like the way the government reacts is like in cities and everything, the way if somebody does something and it makes like national headlines like that, the reason they hate it is because it inspires copycats. So it's like this
mhm,
person did it, this person was bold enough to do it. They probably felt the same way I felt, especially when, you know, their manifestos and everything comes out and the news is reading it. It's like, oh, this person is just like me. I may as well do this. That's why they hate serial killers so much.
Yeah,
mhm,
that's
Well,
true.
aside from the obvious.
Well, yeah. But no, that was a huge thing when the cult guy, right? They didn't want to publicize because people glorified it. They're
mhm,
glorifying the sickness, and you know that back when 4chan was a thing, there's a lot of sick people out here in this world
mhm.
Yeah,
getting off on this stuff. But that's why we got it. We got to go back to these parents.
It starts at
Um,
home.
yeah, it starts at
no, it
home,
does.
or it's either starting at home or it's lacking at home. It's one of the two, right?
Mhm,
It's
Right.
either abuse or lack of attention and needs being met, fulfillment. Um, you know, letting like you were talking about these PlayStation games. You know, letting your children get raised by social media, TV, everything except for outside climbing a tree. Right? You're just letting your kid retain all this crazy, you know, to the point where they don't know what's real, what's not, what's acceptable, what's tolerable. You know, it's just a
mhm,
movie.
mhm.
It's
Hmm.
just a game, you know.
And at that age, you know, even at our age, our brain doesn't really differentiate between subconscious and conscious.
Mhm.
The subconscious teaches the conscious, and that's law. So at their age, all of this information is being poured into the subconscious. So when they
Mhm.
get of age to be logical, that's all that's implanted back there, and that is worrisome to me because there's 5-year-olds playing GTA.
Oh boy.
That's sad.
Right.
That's really sad.
Yeah. That's why I always hate whenever people argue social media has connected the world. What people are doing, especially on places like Instagram and stuff, they're taking people are trying to, and sometimes even fabricating great moments in their lives and only showing that. Other people are
Mhm,
looking at that whose lives aren't so great, and these young people, they're thinking this is what life is supposed to be like. This person looks so happy, I want to be that. And then when they can't achieve that, they're disappointed. Same thing
right.
with these dudes who are so into corn. You know, I'm not actually meaning corn, right? I'm saying, you know, because I don't want you guys to get
Mhm,
flagged. Yeah, so like these same dudes with corn, they say it's bad, and yes, it is bad, especially to overindulge it because you get this. It's like a false sense of how you think sex is supposed to go, what
mhm,
you're expecting. You develop these false expectations, and it's the same with Instagram, same with corn, same with everything. It's like you've developed a false expectation. You
Yeah.
think life is supposed to be one way, but the majority of people, their lives are not like that. And probably
mhm,
more than half these people on these social media sites showing you all these things, it's like, why do you think they created filters to help people sell their lies? Like, what do you
mhm.
think is going on?
Not the filter, Salt. Don't do Snapchat like that.
You
But I
you
But
mean,
you're
already
right though.
know.
It creates a false reality and a false
and then
ego.
when you're standing in the mirror and you see yourself without that filter on, you start having internalized self-hate.
Oh wow. I didn't even think of that.
Hmm.
Because these
Not
people call it like body dysmorphia and oh I've got
mhm,
Yeah,
wow,
it's like
that's
yeah,
I really
true.
wish my skin could be that clear.
Yeah,
mhm, yeah.
wow. That's so true. And
Yeah.
Or
then
my
imagine
eyes
that,
do
but
this
with an
or look
adolescent
like that.
brain.
Mhm.
Right,
Imagine that with an
exactly.
adolescent brain. Wow,
And
that's
then and
Or
hardcore.
then and then it's just like the old saying goes, as cruel as school children, you want yourself to look a certain way, and you go to
Yeah.
school and they reaffirm that you are as ugly as you think you are. And what happens after a while? Like I seen a story of this 11-year-old girl committed self-deletion because she was getting bullied so much, and I'm like, so it's either grow up and have all sorts of issues and end up becoming a school shooter possibly, or end your own life, because to a kid, school and their life at school and their social life, that's all they know. They can't think of anything outside of that, because that's their main responsibility. Go to school and get good grades. But when you go to school, you're tormented. But that's all you can, because like that's why so many people, once they leave high school, they fall into a depression, because it's like, okay, high school is your life. You were the main man in high school, but outside to the rest of the world, to the billions of other people on the planet, you're nothing. And now you're depressed, and now you want to go shoot some people up. You want to rid some of the new generation. It's like you're in high school and you went to go shoot up an elementary school.
Right.
What the hell did they do?
Right.
Like, come on.
That is just beyond me, but that's that sadistic main frame of mind, and that's that false reality, where you want to go attack people who did absolutely nothing to you, want to watch other people suffer because you were forced to be suffered, What besides holding parents accountable? I mean, I was asking, like, to what extent should we start charging these adults? Like, you said California does it for bullying. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, they don't play.
Good. Get some of these other people out of the jails that don't really need it, like these child support niggas. Get them out of jail and start putting these parents who don't take care of their children in there, right? You know what I'm saying?
Put the people who are in jail for child support in a job. How about that? So
that's it.
Like a work program, because they have dudes who've been in prison for years and they put them in work programs, and I'm like, yeah, just do that. If a man's job is like okay, say I got divorced, my wife put me on child support. If I miss a payment, what do? Take my license, but my license is how I make my money. How the fuck am I gonna pay now? You done took my license. Oh, and then I can't pay for the next 2 to 3 months because I ain't doing the job I usually do. Oh, now I gotta go to jail for a couple months. Yeah, that's going to work out nicely.
You're going to jail, sir.
Yeah, it's
how it is. I mean, and I want to talk about that soon too. Is the prison system and how I feel like it's just bullshit. Pipeline.
It's inhumane. It's modern day slavery. Like I heard they were doing something in Alabama recently. They were burying prisoners like in the yard somewhere, and they weren't marking their graves, but then saying that they were still part of the prison, so they were collecting the money or something. Yo, they doing people cold. I get it. If they committed a crime, they deserve a punishment. However, to treat them inhumanely like that, to not feed them for days, to cut their water off, really? Okay. But yeah, but how many of them grew up in broken households or were solely raised by one parent who was messed up in the head or something? It all comes back. It's like Lurker said, it all comes back to the parents. It all comes back to the home. It's like you got to be on your kids, and it's best to, at the very least, have, if you're a single father, have some positive female role model in their life, whether it's your sister, grandmother, whatever. And the same thing for the women. Have a brother, uncle, whoever. You need positive role models in your life, because and to show you different ways of going about things, how to stand up for yourself, how to. There's so much that comes with parenting, and for those parents to just pawn it off on the school the way they did, no, they're getting exactly what they deserve. Even if they gave them the death penalty, I would say, you know what? Their son killed a whole bunch of people. Why should they get to keep their lives? They didn't give a fuck when they were warned about their child.
That's right.
Please hit the like. Thank you.
Oh, wait.
I just said a mouthful there.
The audience. Shout out to the audience. Go ahead and leave your comments, questions, and concerns in the comment section, please. I agree, though, and when you're looking for a role model, lack of better term, that's hard to do. So be your child's best role model, please, parents, please, because they're not gonna get it from no sexy red. They're not gonna get it from these little bootsies. Okay.
What's Salt like to say? Pookie and Ray Ray.
Pookie and Ray Ray. That's
Pookie, Ray Ray, and Lamar. There's 3 of them. 3 that you got to watch out for.
Okay. And you also got to watch. I know listen, somebody might get mad, and that's okay. Put it down in the comments. But you also got to watch dropping your daughters and your sons off at church functions.
Indeed. And friends' houses, because you don't, especially if you don't know the parents.
Absolutely.
Child, now
'Cause
that can get deep right there. Okay,
Mhm.
It's
dropping your kids off at church.
well, you got to watch everywhere. There was a story. It happened in California maybe like 10 years ago. There was a teacher, I think he was first grade or kindergarten, and he would have this game that he would play with the students, and it was basically like I'm going to feed you something and you're going to guess what it is I just fed you. And yeah, I'm not going to go into detail about it, but you already know where that story is going without hearing too much about it. And so, yeah, it's like you can't trust the teachers, even your kids' friends' parents. It's like I heard a story of this man. He had a 13-year-old daughter. She brought her 13-year-old friend over to go swimming. He gave both of them some juice. Turned out it wasn't juice. Turned out it was alcohol. Then when they were asleep, yeah, his daughter's friend, you already know. And I'm just like, you got to watch everybody because you never know. There are predators and monsters out there everywhere.
Everywhere.
Mhm. Mhm. My daddy
Everywhere.
raised me, and he didn't play them games. He was a
Mm-hmm.
single father. He did not play those games. If there was a man in that house, he, salute to their two-parent household, but my daughter won't be over there. She can come hang out, but stay in the night? Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not. Even men I knew he had known his whole life, he trusted himself around, not around my daughter. Absolutely not. Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
So I was raised like that, and that's how I raised my kids, but I see just being observing the world that a lot of people are just throwing their kids to the internet now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to read like we talked about last night, the chickens are coming home to roost now. You're
Yeah.
gonna start going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're gonna start, fining is light work. They hit this lady with manslaughter, not gross negligence, not, child welfare endangerment, not any of that. It was manslaughter.
No way. 4 counts.
Mm.
Good. And then I think they should even charge them for like whatever every bullet the kid had or something. I
Mhm.
really do. I think they should throw the book, set an example for these
Mhm.
parents.
Right.
And maybe
I
somebody will think twice the next time the school calls and say, "Hey, you need to get your kids some help because there's
Mm-hmm.
something wrong."
Well, and
Right.
then it's deterring other parents. It's giving parents a wake up call, like, "Oh shit, what is my kid doing? Oh, I ain't trying to go to jail. I ain't, you ain't fucking
Right.
up my life." So good. I hope it's giving people that reality check that people need, because before this happened, parents of the shooters or of the troublemaker, of the troubled student or child, would just go about, "Oh, my kid went to jail for their fuck up," and they go about their life instead
Mhm.
of truly reconciling on why their child did this. Like, yeah, I am
Well,
overjoyed.
I think you can do a civil suit, right?
Mhm,
Yeah, I
mhm,
Yeah.
could like, if your kid hurts one of my kids, yeah, I might
mhm,
not be able to take you to jail, but I can sue you.
mhm,
Mm,
Right.
mhm, and I don't think
and
that's
I
enough,
threaten
though.
that a lot.
To
I
me,
threaten
your monetary suing you, making you homeless, and now you're on the welfare system, that doesn't bring joy to me. I want you to truly reconcile with yourself, truly see the what led to this.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But when we get talking about, into the prison system, are we really reflecting and resolutions and having come to Jesus meetings? Are we getting real, change when you go to jail for 4
No.
manslaughter? No.
Mm-mm,
Mm-mm.
mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, but you're over there. You don't have the
Right?
privileges of being out here with us.
You're not in the seat.
Okay?
You're not able
And
to
I
deal.
think they should take away some people's commissary when they go to for certain crimes. I feel like, certain abusers, child abusers, or I don't think they should be allowed commissary. Sorry, not sorry.
Look at it.
Sorry, not sorry. I mean, it's a brutal world out here, but because you go to some other countries, they don't get it like this. Some 3 cots and a hot, or 3 hots and a cot for some people is luxury to them. Okay.
Homeless people commit crimes just to go to jail, so they will
Oh.
have security.
And some of these kids that are getting locked up are finding that group sense that they never had before out here in the real world.
Mhm.
So they go to jail and they get lifelong buddies in there, and oh, we did time together. We were in juvie together. We were, it's a broken system. It is, but starting to hold people accountable, I'm all for it. Period.
Yeah.
Consequences for your actions. Okay.
Especially these
Right.
parents. Parents definitely,
Mhm.
definitely, parents need to start being held more accountable because, baby, these children is out here running muck. They're heathens, and I say that in the most respectful way as I can. But a lot of these kids running around are heathens.
Yeah. What was it you, Godmama, who said like 10 minutes ago about having like a program for people that was in jail, or was it Lurker?
Godmama.
Oh,
She
okay.
was saying they don't have that. They don't get any type of therapy. Our prison system's trash.
Right. Well, I mean, okay, so one of my homeboys, he just got out of jail about 3 years ago. And while he was in there, well, at one point he went to go see a judge and he told him, look, you're gonna have to you could either do 7 years or you could do 5 years. You do 7 years, I'm gonna send you to this penitentiary. You do 5 years, I'm gonna send you to this. They call it a camp, but it's basically like they walk around with 50 pounds of gear. And in California, yeah, we get earthquakes, but as far as disasters go, we get fires. Fires is our thing. They would have them carry around 50 pounds of gear, a shovel, all kind of stuff, and they would have them, help out firemen. I think they should have more programs like that, to where it's like, okay, your kid shot up a school, you're going to be in jail for life. However, we could keep you out of the shoe and allow you commissary, but you're going to have to serve in this program. If you don't, then you go here. I don't know. I feel like there should be harsher punishments, and there should be, as far as I don't know, people being constructive, they should have more programs like that. It's like, okay, have people dig ditches for these floods that are going on in Long Beach right now because we got hit by a stupid ass storm, things like that. But yeah, because you're right, a lot of people, they'll go to jail and they'll make lifelong friends, and basically no matter what kind of situation you're in, to keep yourself from going crazy, and this could go for anybody, routine. The moment you develop a routine, you could keep yourself from going crazy till the day you die. You could be okay. Even if you're taken away from all, social interaction with people. Take away a person's routine though, and they could go insane.
What if you're a person who doesn't like routine, and routine actually makes you insane?
Then hey, you shouldn't have committed that crime.
Okay. They'll give you a routine.
I don't.
Nobody's perfect. You're gonna learn to adjust.
You had to spend a total of 48 hours in jail, and no, thank you.
You did, Godmama?
Hell yeah.
Oh my
The first time
gosh.
I was a juvie, and that was because they had my name written down. I had gotten a ticket. My mom was supposed to take it to the courthouse because I didn't have the insurance card. I was like 16 at the time.
That don't really count.
Well, it counted. They put me in handcuffs and threw me in a cell, fingerprinted me, all of that. My daddy had to pay $500 to come get me out.
Jeez.
Yeah, and he was pissed. He
Girl, I
said,
would have
"This
been
is your
pissed
one."
too.
He said, "This is your one get out of jail free card. You used it." I was like, "But this ain't it." It really wasn't my fault. They had it written down that I was born. I would have been like 20 at the time, but I was only 16. All of it was messed up. They pulled me over. They pulled me over because it was me, my boyfriend, and his cousin, my light bright ass, 2 dark skinned men in the back. I get pulled over because my tire touched the yellow line. He pulls me out the car and he's like, "Are you being held against your will?"
Oh Lord. Oh my God.
"What? Are they making you do things you don't want to do?" I said, "Is this because you think I'm white and they're black? Because that's not what this is." So he gets my stuff and he runs it and he's like, "You have a warrant." "A warrant?" I'm a minor. I can't have a warrant in the state that I'm in unless I've committed a heinous crime. I know my rights. You're supposed to call my parents. My parents are supposed to come pick me up. None of that happened because they had the wrong birth year down. They call the judge. It's midnight. She's mad because I'm underage, out past curfew, but I wouldn't have been out past curfew if I wouldn't have got pulled over. So she tells them to throw me in jail in
Oh,
juvie. Maybe I'll learn a lesson. And I'm like, what lesson am I supposed to be learning here? Whatever.
listen, you better than me. I would have been like, hell yeah, they hold me hostage. I got a warrant. They hold me hostage, officer. Go handle that. No, I'm just kidding.
It was like, ugh, my dad, awful.
Child,
Can't
well,
wait to go to
y'all know,
college.
I done did time. I done did hard time. You know what I'm saying? Got me a couple jail tats. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm the only one on the panel without a criminal history, and y'all be treating me like let's just move on.
Listen,
no,
you
no, no, no,
know,
no, 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 no. You just haven't got caught. That's the only difference between us sitting up here. She went for some silly shit. I went for some, whatever. But that's all. You just haven't got caught, sir.
You
It
had
ain't
to go
because
there.
you're not a criminal. Okay. But yes, moving on and
I'm
back to
just
these parents. Back to these parents before we end off here because we're already at the 45-minute mark, y'all. Let's get it. One more thing about parents. I don't know if y'all heard about this in Minnesota. Here we go. So in Minnesota, there is controversy going on because CPS was involved. There is a couple that is divorced. The father has joint custody. And their child is transgender. During the father's visits, he does not cater to the child's beliefs. The mother, she gives me vindictive type vibes. She just kind of gives me, whatever type vibes. Well, anywho, I guess the father didn't take his child in for an appointment for hormones or for puberty blockers. So the mother called CPS herself and said basically that he's medically neglecting their child. So they removed the child from the parents, from both, because the dad went back and said, well, the mom's abusing the child. So now the child is in custody of the state, and there's a lot of controversy around that. They're calling it medical neglect for not catering to your pre-adolescent child when they want to be put on hormones or a puberty blocker.
You've gotta be kidding me.
I am not
I
kidding
don't
you.
think she
That is
is.
unfortunate, a true story.
Oh.
So, yeah. How far are we? We want the law to be involved with our parenting and holding parents accountable, but do we want the law, what I'm saying, all up in my business telling me I'm medically neglecting my child?
No.
It's double-edged sword,
Okay.
right?
Okay, it's not like he forgot to take the kid in for dialysis. It's not like he forgot to take the kid in
Right.
for chemo or something. Really? And then the
Right.
mom didn't involve people, and I'm just like, you've got to. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find the right words to where I'm not like just cussing and saying a whole bunch of vulgar shit. That's stupid. It's just dumb. To put it simply, that's just dumb. It wasn't anything life threatening. It wasn't. That's crazy.
It is. Well, Minnesota.
It's not life threatening.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's where I'm at with it. Like, it's not life threatening. So how can you be charged with medical neglect? It's not life threatening. But
Right.
again, I blame these new healthcare freaking things that have been rolling out that give the hormone replacement blockers, all that therapy. It amped it the fuck up heavily. And a
Well,
lot of
Minnesota
states.
is a state for they're called a trans refugee state.
Mhm.
So there's
What?
Yeah.
yes. They
That's
passed a bill.
that's like a ripoff of the Underground Railroad for trans people. A refugee state.
Yeah, that's what they're calling Minnesota. Yeah, they passed a bill last year in 2023, early
Wow.
2020. So it's been about a year coming up that they passed a bill saying we are a trans refugee state. So a lot of parents are packing up and, leaving states like Florida or Texas or, some of the Republican states are going to Minnesota. So, parents, be
I have a
cautious
really
out
good.
here. Be
I have,
cautious out here.
I was,
Especially if you're in a split house, right?
mhm.
Yeah.
Be careful who
Yeah,
you
because
having your
now,
children with.
yes, both people, male and female, be
Hmm.
mindful of who you're having kids with, because baby, oh my gosh,
Right. So
I can't
you're
imagine
it's
like
almost
how
like
could
you're
you,
damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? Like,
right,
It's I don't know. It's on to me. It's like parents are playing a game of tug of war, and the kid is the rope.
yes,
It's like you
yes,
want to
mhm,
win so bad, you don't like them so much, and you want to quote unquote win so bad. You call it CPS on the dad,
yeah.
and I gotta go back to it. It's like it's not like they were missing chemotherapy. It's not like that you missed their dialysis appointment. Anything like that. Even a checkup. Even a check. Like, come on, really? That's
Hmm.
right. But
insane.
see here, but the issue I have with this is we're starting these hormone therapies at a very young age, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the transgender community, after so many years, a lot of them end up detransitioning. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of them end up regretting the decisions that they made when they mutilated themselves, and those are their words, not mine.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the problem that I have is you're taking a pre-adolescent child and you're blocking all of the hormones that are naturally supposed to come into the body, and it's going
Mm-hmm.
to cause long-term effects. You wanna talk about abuse, in my opinion, that's abuse.
Mm-hmm.
It
You're
is.
changing the molecular structure.
Hmm.
That's
Right.
insane, of a child. The children barely have any rights.
Mm-hmm.
So how can they make decisions? My 12-year-old cannot go to the doctor by himself. My 12-year-old can't call the doctor and say, "Hey, I need to make an appointment for a checkup." I have to do that.
Well, they're
I
trying
have
to
to do
change
that.
that. They're trying to change it that children can go seek medical advice, medical assistance
And I
without their
agree with
parent.
that. I agree with that
Um,
because some kids'
yeah,
parents
they're
don't care.
trying. Hmm.
Some but you gotta understand that that most times the laws are made for the kids that don't have parents that will take them, that don't have parents that will make checkups. They've been telling their mom or dad for 3 years, "My foot is hurting," and they don't care. So I do feel like there should be some type of leeway where a child can say, "Hey, I don't feel good. My parent's a piece of shit." So, but I still have that right to call and say, "Hey, I need someone to check me out
Yeah.
because something's not right." I understand that. But when you start giving a child more right than its parent
Yeah.
and a say so of their body and that their frontal lobe isn't even developed to
Right.
even make logical decisions.
Do you
That doesn't
think as
develop
far
in your
as
20s.
do you think as far as that goes, because like you said, okay, some kids their parents won't allow them to do that. Do you think like as far as do you think they should have like tangible evidence, like, look, I need to do these things, my parents aren't allowing me to do it, here's evidence of it? Do
Mhm.
you think if they present evidence they should be able to, instead of, because you already know people are going to take advantage of it, some kids will just lie, some kids will
Mhm.
just straight up lie. It's like I don't know, letting them do it at just such a young age is crazy. When I was 7 years old, I really, really, really wanted to be Superman, so much to the point to where I would make myself a cape and everything. And one day I said, Dad, I really want to be Superman. He said, then you're Superman, son. I went out, and then one day I went out into the backyard. I got a ladder, and I put
Okay.
that ladder onto the house, and I climbed on the top of the house, and I jumped off the roof, and I hurt my leg really bad. And he whooped my ass really bad and said, boy, you ain't Superman. He explained to me, like, no, look, you could have got, like, because I could have killed myself. And so it's like, yo, if I'm 7 years old and I'm thinking that, and other kids are seeing all these anime cartoons and all these other things, wishing that they could be something else, and what's the difference between that and a kid who's 5 years old? Oh, I'm a boy, but you know what? I think maybe I want to be a girl. Like, to me, it's taking it too far. It's taking it too far. It's a child. It's like Godmama said, their frontal lobe isn't even all the way to, like, it doesn't fully develop till you're like 24 or some shit like that. Like your ability to properly reason, right? So it's like, really? I don't know.
It's just not making. And a lot of parents in some states, they get in trouble if their child is saying, "Oh, I want hormone therapy," and the parent is like, "No, we're not doing that." You know, in some states, the child can go turn them in for medical neglect because they are wanting hormone therapy, and the parent is saying no.
Oh,
Correct.
geez.
Correct.
Yeah,
It's getting crazy.
it's getting it's yeah.
So it's like,
Worrisome.
well, we'll charge a parent of a school shooter, but we'll take away the kids from, you know what I'm saying? Where are we going? Like Salt said, it's like playing tug of war. You know,
Well,
you want us to be accountable for our kids, but then you're taking away our rights that are making us accountable for our fucking kids. Which one is it, government?
Well, even think about this, because it's like, okay, they could get their parents charged for it. So, okay, and then they manage to transition. What happens, because like Godmom said, a lot of them will detransition.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of relationship me and my children would have. I'll always love them, but I don't know what kind of relationship we'd be able to have if you turn me in because I want to allow you to transition. You transition and then you detransition, but I'm never going to forget that you got me arrested for this. And then you changed your mind. So now I got this on my record. I'm looking crazy, and you're just, oh, well, I only want to do it for that little bit of time. Nah, what? Okay, so what kind of relationship are we going to have after this? You're invited to Thanksgiving, but don't speak to me. I'll love you forever. I'll do whatever I can to help you. But nah, we I don't know. Like, how can people do stuff like that? That's crazy. Like, even to a guy like me, that's pretty messed up. Like, that's cold.
I mean, it's going back to the lines of reality being blurred constantly. And that was going to be my next question. So if we're saying, okay, yes, hold parents accountable, and we're saying that giving a child just free range of social media, TV, internet, games, whatever is the problem or is creating a problem, shouldn't the parent now start taking all of that away?
Or at
Because I
least,
know a lot of kids that don't have, I know a lot of kids that are my son's age, he's 12, that don't have a cell phone, that don't have an Xbox or a PlayStation. They have a family computer and they have a landline, and that is it. And those kids are so bright. Are they picked on? Yes, but they're very, very bright and they're very, very aware of what's going on. They're not just, and that's why I make my son take long breaks from all of that crap because I can observe and see, yeah, you've been on that game for too much because you're not even here with me right now. You're somewhere else. So what age? I mean, like what do we do? Do we strip our kids of everything and go back old school, read a book, watch cable TV, and
I
go
think
out?
a balance of both because it is we're in a technical age, period. And I don't want my kids to be left behind from that. Now, do they need all the gadgets? No. But taking computer classes, things like that. Yeah, I encourage that for my kids. So that way they're up to date. They, are aware of what's going on in the world, but just with balance. Cause I also want book reports for my kids, so just finding balance, I think is the solution for that.
I mean, as far as tech goes and everything, all these tech companies, they make parental controls for a reason. It's like I said, it's the responsibility of the parent. Parents need to learn these things, learn the ins and outs of the PlayStation, Xbox, laptops, whatever. So then they can properly police their children on it. Like there's like, as far as, because I got a PlayStation. I'm like a big kid. They have an option on the PlayStation and the, what'd you say?
I said we can tell.
Yeah. So they have an option on there where it's like, okay, this PlayStation is going to turn off for after 3 hours. You can put parental
Right on.
controls where if you have your own, because in everything as far as tech wise, profiles. You'll have your
Yeah.
profile on your laptop. Your kid will have their profile. You can
Yep.
set parental controls. You can police them properly as long as you know how to do it. So it's like
Yep.
it's about parents taking responsibility and being aware of what it is their kids doing, knowing the ins and outs of what it is they're doing more so than them, so that they don't learn how to turn off the parental controls. And yeah, giving them less time on it. It's like, okay, this thing's gonna turn off in 3 hours. Once it turns off, you're done with the PlayStation for the day. You can go read a book, you can go outside, run, jump, and play, whatever. But you're done with the PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? It's about policing as a parent and being responsible. So, but I mean, taking it, just stripping everything away like that, I wouldn't necessarily agree with that, because you want them to know some stuff. You want them
Yeah.
to know some things.
Yeah. You don't want them left behind. You know.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, y'all. That's fascinating. And take control
Recent parenting book.
before you lose control. Okay, take control before you lose control, parents. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, because it's about to get real in the field out here as a
Uh,
parent.
take control before somebody else takes control for you. Okay, how about that?
Hmm.
I
If
love
you
that. I'm
have,
stealing.
you gotta, yes, yes.
All
Because I
right.
live in the state that I live in. We're an open carry. We are a you. As long as you're not a felon, you can have whatever weapon you want to have, however, wherever, whenever.
Mm-hmm.
So being in that state, I have to be more mindful of those things. That
Right.
everybody possibly has something on them.
Mm-hmm.
And every morning after my child goes to school, I get up and I check all around the house and make sure everything is still there. Not saying that my child does that or wants to do that, but it's just, again, a parent
Yeah.
making themselves stand in accountability. I
That's
know that I
responsible.
have these things in my home. I know that things get crazy at school. I know people pick on and all the, school life. I have to stand in accountability and say, okay, because I would much rather me check a spot and it not be there and me catch him before than
Mm-hmm.
after. You know what I mean?
Right.
I
Yeah.
would much rather deal with it before he hurt someone than after he hurt someone and me standing there like, "Oh, well, I had no idea. Oh, yeah, one of them is missing. Damn."
Well,
Mhm.
You know?
Oh, I thought
'Cause
my husband took it. Oh, I thought
right.
I did a lot.
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
No, you have if you know you have weapons in your home, you have to I don't care if it's husband, wife, 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 husband, husband. Each person in that home who is an adult has to be responsible for the safety of everyone else in the community, not just yourself, because anybody can come pick it up, you know?
Yeah.
You have to be very aware. You can't just own a weapon and think, "Oh, I own a weapon, so I can just leave it here." Absolutely not.
Right.
Uh,
I agree.
uh, uh, uh.
We need to teach our children proper gun safety, how to properly handle one.
I'm a big fan of that. I enjoy my son being able to hunt, fish,
Mhm.
get what he needs. Okay, I feel very protected with him, you know, and his firearm. But that's the kind of life we live. That's how I raised him. Um. Oh, I was gonna
And
say.
so
Oh,
you have to be extra mindful, not saying that your son would think to do that, but as parents, we just always have to be extra mindful, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying, "Hey, I have to go check this." It's called being, like Salt said, responsible.
yes, and after that, I looked that up. I can't believe I've never thought to look up the. I don't know what I thought school should. It never crossed my mind that they're male. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? It just never stood out to me. But I know I've always, you just keep an eye on your kid. Like, what's up? You're off today.
mhm,
Something's off with, you
mhm,
okay? Are you getting beat up at school? Are you getting bullied? Mama need to go to the school and let them know what's you.
mhm.
I don't know. To me, that's the kind of parent I am. But now that I'm seeing these stats, it's like not only checking for my son, but his friends too, my nephews, it's I didn't realize that. I don't know why, but these young men out here, they're frustrated in toxic situations, whatever their interior, exterior, whatever the case may be. We got to keep a lookout. We need more big brothers. That's what you need to do, Salt. You need to join a big brother program. Okay.
I do.
Yeah, you could be a mentor to some of these kids.
I don't know.
Go save some lives, Salt. Go save some lives.
Teach them how to make some money. That's what they need to know. They need to know how to make legit good money.
There you go.
You give a young
I can talk to some
man.
kids about trucking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You give a young man a window of opportunity, he'll jump through it. It's when he doesn't see a window of opportunity, he has to go make his own, And most of the time, making your own is in the street somewhere, and that never ends up good.
Yeah.
So this is going to be, and I know we're going to end up wrapping up, but this is going to get interesting because now we're opening the window, right, and the door for all of the parents of the drive-by shooters that just shoot and, are they now going to start being charged because they're allowing their children to join gangs and harass and terrorize the community? Because I think that should be the next step.
Right.
Hold the parents accountable for their children being in gangs and tearing the communities up.
That's been excuse me, that's been an issue in especially Southern California for decades now. Gang members, you see them all the time on Instagram and YouTube. This A-Tray Gangsta Crib, this East Coast one over here, and they'll be 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, tatted, just blasted the fuck up with whatever neighborhood they're from. And I'm just like, and some of them will even boast about it. Nigga, my mama know I bang. My daddy know I bang. And it's like, okay, you gang affiliated. They know you bang. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm all for that. I'm all for that shit. Yeah, go ahead and lock them parents up too. Oh, you know your kid. So you didn't notice this big ass back tattoo your son has, even though every time we roll by, as the police, we see him walk around without his shirt off. You didn't know he was from 17th Street. You didn't know he was from. Nah, there should be more punishments for the because. There's youngsters out here, little dudes looking to make a name for themselves by sometimes even taking out their own OGs.
Yep. Talk about it.
Even the rapper Ice-T has said he don't go back to his old neighborhood because Ice-T was a Crip. He don't go back to his own. He doesn't go back to his own neighborhood because he knows there's some young little G there. He don't even know who it is. But he knows there's a couple of them. There's a young. There's a tiny loke there looking to make a name for himself. Yeah, I was the one who popped Ice-T. Yeah, I was the one who killed Mac 10. Yeah, I was the dude who got Nipsey Hussle. But you see what happened to that dude, and it's like, you should
earning their stripes.
Yeah, your son went to jail. He was kicking it with this. He was kicking it with this group in juvie. We all know that they Crips. Oh, you didn't notice these tattoos? Nah, there should definitely be more punishments, especially in California, because the gang issue out here has been ongoing and a worsening thing for decades. People have lost family members, homeboys. It's stupid.
It's stupid.
Yeah, I so agree. Start charging these, like I said, per bullet. Like how they do the felony people with, you can't own a gun and they charge you per bullet. Start doing that. Start getting hardcore with these parents. We don't need gun reform. We need parent reform.
Absolutely. Yes, we do. We need parents held accountable for this crap because it's getting out of hand. You've got a 10, 12, 13-year-old saying, my mother and my father knows I'm out here doing illegal activity. That's insane. And no one is getting reprimanded for this. No one is getting nothing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
CPS steps in for less. For less. What's going on? Are we doing this on purpose or what's going on? Because I don't want to get into it where, but I just ask that the government doesn't make me get into it. Because if we're going to hold one accountable, we're going to hold all accountable. No matter the race, color, or creed, we are holding all accountable.
Yeah.
I agree.
Oh, wait.
It is only little, so we got to no.
Yeah.
Because apparently our community is not going to step in and do anything about gangs, right? Obviously.
Nah.
Yeah. Okay.
Nah.
It ain't gonna be me. I
Yeah,
don't
nah.
volunteer. No, thank you.
Yeah,
Who
nah.
volunteers?
Speaking, I could adopt a kid. Yeah, well, I do all the time. I have so many godchildren. It's not even funny.
Right.
Like I'm done. I'm done with. I have maxed out with keeping these kids together. But I think that's also a good solution for people.
Mhm.
I see a lot of YouTubers have time, so why don't y'all go
Mhm.
adopt a kid? Not adopt a kid like that, but big brother, big sister, whatever.
Mhm.
Some program.
Mhm.
Go volunteer your time. Go teach a kid how to play baseball or something. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Right.
True
So,
Freeman, go teach a kid how to build a bike.
mhm.
Nah, he ain't gonna do that. He gonna build a bike while the kid just sits there and watch. He ain't gonna explain nothing. He just gonna build it. Like, oh, okay.
Don't do him.
Okay, True Freeman. Anyways, that's his
Yeah.
second shout out. Ooh, we True, you're popular over here with the concerned citizens. We love it. Anywho, it's 10 my time, y'all. I've got to go.
Yeah, me
I
too.
enjoyed this conversation very much. This was
Mhm.
good. And we got more. We'll be back tomorrow, y'all. We'll be back. We'll be back.
If at any point y'all decide y'all want to talk about what's going on in Texas, because I'm all for Texas. I low-key hope there's a civil war. If anybody was to stand up to the government, oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh,
Where the fuck
anyway.
was this nigga
I
yesterday,
was just
bro?
like to say before I hop off, I'm all for Texas. If they get a civil war going, I will leave to Texas and I will join y'all, because if anybody was to stand up to the government, it will be Texas. That's one state that's not gonna get fucking bullied. Don't get me wrong. I'm a Cali dude all day. I love my state. I love my town. However, they turn this state into the canary in the coal mine. They test out so much shit. In 2025, they're not even allowed to sell gas powered cars in this state. So I don't know what the hell that's all about, but we gonna see. Yeah.
Come to
So
Texas. What's up? We got, there's trucking jobs out here. What's up? So y'all can get you a big old plot of land
Right.
too. We can get you some
Houston has a
land,
lot of
house.
Mhm.
yeah,
We've
I would love
considered visiting
Texas.
Houston a bunch of times. And if Kentucky don't get right, okay. Because I was
Come
very
on.
disappointed. I was very disappointed in Andy Brashear. I was very disappointed in you. Very disappointed.
Godmama was getting bullied on Facebook
Sure
because she
was.
put I stand with Texas.
Sure was getting bullied for
Hey,
standing.
welcome to the club. Now you know how I feel. Now you know how I feel. That's
Oh
what you
my
get.
God.
All right, peace out, y'all. Much love.
Bye, Saul. Thank you for
Toodaloo.
coming. Yeah. All right. We got another one in the books, Godmama. This is great.
Yeah, this was
This is
awesome.
great. And I think on Friday, maybe we'll just do a catch up with everybody too.
That's what I was just thinking. Friday, we'll just allow you guys to come and we'll talk about all the stuff we've talked about this week.
Yep.
Because obviously, Salt's got some things he's got to get off his chest about immigration, which we talked about last night.
Mhm.
So we look forward to seeing you guys again.
Yeah, we do.
And make sure you hit that like button, share, subscribe, hit the cash apps to donate to the channel so we
Yeah.
can get some new stuff over here. We used it to get mics and
Yep.
intros and
Yep. We got some more
background.
music coming out soon. Yep. Yep.
Mhm.
We doing the dang thing, okay?
We
We
doing
doing
it and doing it well.
it. All right, citizens, stay concerned. Until the next time. Peace.
Peace.